Welcome back to the BTR channel, and today we have another tier list video for you guys. This time we'll be ranking NHL teams, but before we continue, make sure you guys check out our EPL and our NBA ones that dropped after you've done watching this video.
Like in the other tier list videos, if you have anything you disagree with, agree with, or just any thoughts in general, please comment down below because we would like to hear them. Obviously, being tier list videos, people are going to have their own opinions and we have our own opinions. So we'd love to hear your takes, your perspective on any of this. And then same as the other videos, there's going to be a lot of things, expectation, end result, and like just team roster and everything like that, and what your team had to face through the season, like the EPL video and the NBA video. And if you guys like enjoying sports content, with the pods, tier list, and shorts videos that we drop, please subscribe because you'll be getting more of that. And without further ado, should we head into it?
Yeah, so, the NHL season ended, and we decided, like I said, like the other videos we dropped, that we will have to rank these teams. So let's get started with the first team.
Anaheim Ducks.
And we watched obviously a little bit when they faced the Canucks. Otherwise, they were supposed to be a bad team. They were still a bad team. This one's tough to rank just because like it's more divisional based, whereas like the NBA isn't divisional based. But they were expected to be last. They were last. I would still put them in D.
I would put them in D tier. The year before, they were a little bit better than like dead last.
Yeah.
So they struggled a lot more this year. But obviously, no one's really going to care because that's what we were expected to do.
And they got the second overall pick.
And you got the second overall pick. So I don't think it's an F tier team.
Yeah. I mean, the dead last in the division. Best chances at Bedard, obviously, just missed out. But
you still get a second pick, which could be like Fantilli.
Yeah.
Which would also be a big roster addition. Arizona Coyotes.
So I want to put them in C slightly, but I think I'm going to put them in D.
I'm putting them in D, right?
Just because they were supposed to be literally that team that's supposed to get Bedard.
F tier stadium.
F tier stadium, C tier home record.
Yeah.
B or C tier home record.
But they were expected to be where they were, and especially in that range.
Because like they finished with 70 points.
Yeah, it's not like they
Right?
did a little bit better.
Yeah, that's like for context, Anaheim finished at 58.
Yeah.
So they still did a lot better. That's why I was saying maybe the end of C, but we could see how we rank the rest.
Yeah, we could always push
decide
them
on
up.
that. Just because their expectations were low of the low.
Like
they
thought
were like
dead last.
below F.
Yeah. Especially
That's the only reason why I'm considering C for that team.
especially with the transition into
That
different stadium.
yeah.
And
And all that drama,
Arizona University
all that
Stadium.
drama, and all that drama with the whole Tempe situation and where they're
yeah.
gonna play in the future. But
What was that? What was that stadium called?
Mullet Arena,
And it was the Arizona
State
State University. All right, here's a team that had two tails.
So here's the thing:
Boston Bruins.
S before the playoffs started,
And
then they dropped to B.
below F after the playoffs.
So I would just say B,
I'll go to B.
just
Yeah.
because
If you're
you
know
blew a
what?
3-1 lead as well.
Yeah, if
You're
watch-
lucky you're not
yeah.
C. But yeah,
If you watch the NBA one, it's like the Milwaukee Bucks, right?
yeah.
You had the best record in the league,
This,
right?
but
Obviously,
these guys
this
were
one-
the best.
This was historically
Yeah.
best record, and you got first rounded by an 8 seed
But the difference
from
between,
Florida.
But the difference between them and the Bucks were this team got 3-1 up and
Yeah. So these guys had a lead.
That's why
too.
I'm like maybe even C, but I feel like that's a little too
Nah.
harsh because you still made history.
Yeah, that's a
end
little
of the
bit
day.
too harsh. Too.
You know, before the season, no one expected them to be like the best team, maybe even in their own division. But having an historical season with bringing back David Krejci, with Brad Marchand injured, Patrice Bergeron coming back, that helps. And you obviously had great years from like
Linus
Hampus
Ullmark.
Lindholm and Linus Ullmark. So I think B is fair.
I think B is fair. Buffalo Sabres.
B. They were until the last week in the hunt for that last wild card spot.
Yeah, they were.
You
right?
did not expect that from Buffalo.
Tage Thompson, absolute incredible season.
Insane year.
Right? Honestly, like when at the beginning of the year when he got extended, people were like, "Oh, he might have gone overpaid," but now not anymore.
So here's the thing: they're B tier. There were you could argue eight, and if I'm looking at this, they were 1 point behind the team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals, the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, but no, I can't. I think it's B tier.
Like
Like
Obviously, yeah, I'll keep them in B, but I could argue
their
A.
expectations were around D tier, right? And obviously they had a big jump.
That's what I'm saying. So that's
But
maybe what.
I think it's B tier.
Because here's the thing, the NBA one made it easier with the whole play-in situation.
Yeah, that's true, right?
That's why they're like that OKC. That's why I'm considering A. Only reason. But if you want to keep him in B for now, we could keep him from B, but we could argue about it later.
Yeah, I will keep him from B right now. I'll put him ahead of Boston just because. Why not?
Just because, like, if I'm looking back at the standings, I remember when we were looking at the
Yeah,
last.
they were in there for like, and they had like a couple games in hand, obviously.
Yeah.
So then they were in it for the last week, but obviously, with Florida winning games, Islanders winning
like
games.
they were literally 2 points out of being the top wild card seed. So I want to put them in A.
You know what? Screw it. Why not?
Put them in A.
All right.
Did not expect that.
The Calgary Flames.
D. Or even, that's a team I would consider F. But D for now. I don't think they're an F tier team.
You expected a level drop off, right? Winning the division. I didn't
So
expect
they
them to win
did
again.
miss the playoffs out to be. Okay, I wouldn't say F. I feel that was too harsh.
F was harsh.
It was just because of what they did last year. And yes, you expected a drop off.
Because you lost Goudreau and Kachuk.
Your two best players.
Yeah.
But then you brought back two guys, at least for the short term, in Kadri.
Who are coming
and
off
Huberdeau.
great years.
Yeah, great years. One guy's a Stanley Cup finalist. One guy had
No, one guy's a champion.
Sorry, champion.
Not even
I was
final.
thinking of this year's Florida team for Huberdeau.
Yeah.
And Huberdeau, who had who was part of the best
115
one of the best offensive teams.
The issue with that is the fit with Coach Daryl Sutter didn't work, and Huberdeau ended up
They missed out the playoffs by
55
2 points, right, off a wild card spot. They were 9 points off the last Pacific spot. So we'll keep them in D because I still thought they were comfortably ahead of LA, in my opinion.
You think they were ahead of LA? I would say they're
Before the season.
before the season. I mean, I was debatable with LA, but I think they were definitely ahead of Seattle.
Yeah.
So even Winnipeg, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, if
I
you're looking at it that way too, yeah, I'm gonna keep them in D.
Expectation was playoffs for me,
Yeah.
and they didn't do that. Hurricanes.
A. That team went through so many injuries and do not have like that superstar player. Yes, Sebastian Aho is great. I know Svechnikov was there for most of the regular season, but missed out the whole playoffs. Tieravainen missed out the first 2 rounds, and they got past that round. Yes, they got swept by Florida, but they're still an A-tier team for me, just because the adversity they went through.
Yeah, they went through a lot.
They had no excuses. They had more excuses than Boston did.
Yeah, they did. And expectation was at least conference finals.
Yeah.
And they made that.
Should they have beaten Florida? Maybe.
Yeah, but they won the division and they made the conference finals. They beat Islanders, which they were favored in, and also the Devils, which was they were favored in, but the Devils were a tough team. Next up, the Blackhawks.
D,
right? They were supposed to be bad. They were bad.
They got Bedard. You
And
even
now
put
they got
C.
Bedard.
You could put C for Connor Bedard if you want to, but obviously we're not gonna.
Yeah.
But
I don't think there's any arguments here.
nothing.
Right?
Yeah, just move on.
Avalanche.
C, B,
I would agree.
and if they had gotten past the Kraken, sure, I would have considered A, but they didn't. So, yes, you were missing Gabriel Landeskog, who's gonna be missing the next year as well. Faced some other injuries. Makar was out for a bit, if I wasn't mistaken.
Yeah, but in the playoffs, right? They still ended up winning the division, so they fought through that. But in the playoffs, obviously, I think
everybody had them beating the Kraken.
yeah, everyone had them like.
You have to be a hater, you have to be a pure biased Seattle fan to believe that Seattle would have beaten them.
Yeah, and so for that reason, you're a B tier.
Yeah.
There was a clear path for the NHL finals,
Yeah.
the Stanley Cup finals. But it didn't happen because Kraken. Because in my opinion, they could have beat the Stars, and then Vegas was obviously debatable.
Yeah.
Blue Jackets.
So they were not supposed to be bad. Keep in mind.
They were supposed to be better.
They were supposed to be, because you add Johnny Gaudreau, you ain't supposed to be at the level of Anaheim and San Jose and all these teams, right? But injuries were a factor. It's D or F. I'll let you put where you think it's gonna be.
You know what? I'll be harsh. I'm gonna go F. Right? There was no way you should have been this bad. Once they got Johnny Gaudreau, and you were saying there were people.
No one wants to join Columbus in the first place.
Yeah. You were saying, and on other people were saying, like a lot of analysts and more professional people than us were saying that like these guys could fight for a wild card spot.
That's what I was. Yeah,
right.
I didn't think they were comfortable playoff spot. I thought they would have fought for a wild card spot.
I was a little bit skeptical, but still with adding Gaudreau and you're having Liney there, Line A, and then you have decent goaltending before you traded Corpusalo. I would
They would have not
agree.
needed to trade Corpus.
Like I was more on your guys' side than I was on them being a complete garbage side.
I honestly wasn't saying. I thought they would have fought for a wild card, but I thought they were ultimately going to be like that mid-tier, missing the playoffs for the first year. But yeah, I think we need to be harsh. This was one of my most disappointing teams.
Like you didn't expect them to be like 50 points back.
Yeah, I just realized it's in alphabetical order, but
Yeah.
let's just continue.
Dallas Stars.
A.
Yes.
Conference
finals.
Great year, conference finals. Down
You
3-0,
had-
made it 3-2. Obviously got whooped in Game 6, but you're in the conference finals. You deserve an A-tier spot for me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like the only way you would not be an A-tier squad is if you're like those 73-9 Warriors, or like those KD Warriors, essentially not winning the title. That's all. Like that's what the NHL version of that.
Yeah. No. Absolute beast years from their stars. Robertson, Hintz, Ottinger was still good. Heiskanen is still good. Right. Young team. They'll be back.
Yeah.
For sure. And they have their guys locked up too.
Yeah.
Detroit Red Wings.
This is a B-tier team for me.
B tier?
Yes. Because
Why is that?
they were 80 points. They were not supposed to be that high up either. Like, did you really think they were supposed to be kind of pushing for the playoffs? Yes, they ultimately missed out by 12 points.
Yeah, I was leaning C tier. Like, their expectation from me was D tier, but they played a little bit better than that.
Yeah, actually, they missed
And I don't
out.
think they're in the same level as Boston Avalanche.
Well, that's team
Yeah, I know.
level.
That's team level.
We're looking at expectations a little bit.
Yeah, I know, but we're
higher
also looking at
category.
team level too, right? Like, these guys were the 1 seeds in their respective conferences.
You know what? C is fair.
I think C is
I'm
fair.
looking back at the standings. There's another team I want to put in B. That's why.
Edmonton Oilers. I would go with B.
This is a tough one because you face the Stanley Cup champions in the second round because they're in your division.
Yeah.
People thought the winner of the cup would have been the winner of that series, correct?
Cup, at least final, making it to the finals.
Yeah.
Winner of the
Like,
Western Conference.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
would
I
you have
said-
would you have agreed that Oilers would
Once
have
the
beaten Dallas?
Avalanche were eliminated, I said that the Oilers would make the finals.
The reason why I want to put them in A tier is a couple of reasons. That was reason number one, because essentially the Western Conference Finals was that, in my opinion, right? Yes, we put Dallas up there for a reason because that's the true Western Conference Finals. It's just the playoffs are set up differently. Like I don't know how it would have been if it was like ranked 1 to 8. Obviously, I could check that, but that's not the point of this argument. Then on top of that, you had like amazing years from McDavid and Draisaitl. And
Here's my
RNH.
reasoning why they're a B tier. They lost that series in 6. That's one.
Yeah,
Number 2, they had no excuse.
yeah,
Vegas had an excuse if they lost that series.
true.
They had Aiden Hill in that. No offense to Aiden Hill, he played great, but you had to have done better.
Even before Aiden Hill, it was Laurent Brossoit.
Yeah, like you had to have done better, right? In my opinion, in that series, like it was your chance.
I would put him on the top of B then.
Yeah, I'll move that. But in
I
my
could still we'll
in
come
my
back to it.
opinion, it had to have been better.
We
For
could
them.
still make an argument, but for A, I was
for a team
sorry,
that's made the conference finals the previous year, for a team that's been in the playoffs for a while now, a second round
it's just
exit.
it's super hard just
A second
because
round
the
exit-
style of the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the
but
only
a
reason.
second round exit is still disappointing
True.
for what this team has been through this last couple of years.
Okay, Florida, chuck them in A.
Yeah,
Before this season, they were probably like C,
yeah,
but they almost missed the playoffs to making the finals. Obviously, it was just, like you said earlier. If you watched the NBA one, it was a similar situation with the Heat.
yeah.
my
Like
Florida
they-
counterpart there, and then Denver was clearly the better team. And once you get to Vegas,
you know what? We'll just do it right now.
Just drop them.
Since
There.
we already know,
Yeah.
like
We praised them in the previous podcast. You could watch that. We don't need to say too much.
you were up here with them, but then the Vegas Golden Knights were clearly better than you.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were clearly better than you, like 9-3 better than you, makes them like you can't put them in the same tier.
Yeah.
LA Kings.
B tier.
Yeah.
Took Oilers to 6,
And the previous year, just going to 7.
and I don't think they're a C tier team because they're still so young that I can't put them in C. Just because like I didn't expect them to be. I didn't think there would be a third seed. I thought there would be a wild card team.
They
I thought Calgary would have been ahead of them. I thought even they would be battling like the Canucks, for example, for that wild card spot as one of the teams,
For me, the year they had previously, I was like, if they could replicate that,
which they did.
and they did that, right? And for that reason, I give them B. Obviously, getting eliminated in the first round isn't a good look,
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
right?
That's the problem with the playoffs.
Otherwise,
structure.
you would have been A.
Yeah, that's the problem with the playoff structure.
But you got a rematch with the Oilers.
And they were not going to beat them. Let's be honest. So that's why
Yeah.
they met the expectation slightly even more, in my opinion.
No, I would say they met. I don't
Yeah.
think they exceeded.
Okay, so let's stick with B.
Minnesota
Minnesota's also
Wild.
B. Or no,
I'm
it's
going.
not.
I'm going with C.
I'm going with high C.
Reason being is
I
that
had them beating Dallas personally.
yeah,
Not out of the first round for a while again.
they've
you're-
been in playoff disappointment for a while, right?
I thought with all the injuries to Colorado, they should have. Obviously Dallas also fighting for Dallas for the top spot of the division.
They were the third seed, right? Yeah, Dallas was the second seed,
Yeah.
and then they were the third seed because Dallas was home. I remember that first game when they went to like double overtime. But no, Minnesota has been just a mid team, right? They've been like those teams that like it's like the range where you don't want to be in, just barely
Yeah.
missing the playoffs or make the playoffs but get on the first round.
Yeah.
And they've been that for a while now. You still have Kirill Kaprizov, but
Struggled.
you're also in cap hell as
Yeah.
well. And I feel like you're gonna be in this tier for a while for the next coming years. Montreal Canadiens.
D.
Yeah, and
didn't expect too much.
they were supposed to be bad. They were
The only
bad.
team worse than them was Columbus. There's a reason why Columbus is an F.
Yeah. Just moving on. Nashville Predators.
C. They're just a middle mushy, whatever you want to call it team.
One thing.
Yeah, go for it. I know what you're gonna say. Go
Trade
for it.
deadline. We expect them to be way worse, but they were still fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, like how much did they ultimately miss out by?
I think it
3
was like
points.
3 points. Yeah.
You could even argue. Actually, no. You could argue B.
You could argue B. I'll put them ahead of the Wild.
Yeah, you could argue B, but I still thought they should have. Yeah,
For me, expectation
was
was
wild card.
that was their ceiling though.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't anything higher.
so
than
they
that.
just missed it.
And they just missed it.
So I think that's
with
fair,
trading away
right. There's a
Ekholm,
difference.
Tanner Janot,
There's
and
a
all those people.
Yeah, there's a difference between, like Buffalo being A is because you did not expect them to be
Like Buffalo was
1.0,
surprising.
1.0.
Yeah, right. Buffalo was actually surprising. These guys
Like I would not have been surprised if they had made it.
These guys were in the range that they're supposed to be in.
Yeah.
The thing with the Minnesota Wild is they had a bigger expectation than both Buffalo and the Predators.
Yeah.
And they provide the same result again that they have been providing for the
Yeah.
last few years. Devils A.
Yeah, easily. One of the best young teams. Won a playoff series, which I thought they weren't going to win.
Yeah.
They came back from 2-0 down away as well. And yeah, there's nothing much to say. You got a young core of Hughes, Heischer, Bratt, who they extended. On your back end, you got Luke Hughes, Nemec now coming in. Dougie Hamilton. Right, their goaltending situation worked out in a way, but obviously it could be better.
Yeah, their goaltending could be better, but like I feel like you definitely missed some players as well. Like Timo Meyer, they added in the trade deadline.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't expect them obviously to be anywhere.
I thought they would have been LA level, essentially.
I thought I thought they were like coming into the season, Nashville ceiling, like wild card.
I thought they were LA
at max.
ceiling for me. Whatever LA was, that was the Eastern version of LA for me.
Actually,
And they passed it. By
Yeah.
beating. Now it sucks that LA had to face Oilers, so that's the only difference. But
they
Yeah.
had to face a tough team,
yeah,
which was also low key disappointing. But we'll get to that in the team after this one, which is the Islanders right now. I'm going C.
2 years removed from being back-to-back conference finalists, 1 goal away from making the finals. Struggled last year. Obviously, did much better. Added Bo Horvat at the deadline, extended him. But disappointed. Still, they barely made the playoffs, but that's their ceiling from now on. Even
Like they barely made the playoffs, got out in the first round. They had to play Carolina Hurricanes. Nobody expected them to win.
like they were like what? It was the battle between.
I was expecting a
The
sweep.
battle was literally between them, Panthers, Penguins, and the Sabres, right?
Yeah.
One bad game would have knocked them out. You could put them at the end of B if you want, but yeah,
No, a C.
they're a C team.
They met their expectation, right? And
Yeah.
that's what C is for. Rangers.
B, end of B. You cannot put them in the same tier.
As
Yeah,
the-
they were my Stanley Cup finalists. Don't get me wrong, and they disappointed. But then the way the Devils season went on, you have to base it on those expectations, not just the Devils from the preseason expectations. And no one's surprised Dallas. No one is surprised the Devils beat the Rangers. They were surprised that you blew a 2-0 lead from home, but that's about it, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah, you were behind the Devils, like you were the 3 seed. If this was like the previous year Rangers, they would be like high A because
yeah.
they beat the Hurricanes to go to the
And you add
conference final.
Tarasenko, you add Kane, obviously older end
Yeah,
players.
like if you didn't get eliminated in the first round, you'll be in the A tier. But the
Yeah.
fact that you added those players and you made the conference final the previous year, and like I said before, you added those players like
Yeah.
Patrick Kane, Stanley Cup winner, Tarasenko, Stanley Cup winner. Yes, they didn't perform as in their primes, but there was still an expectation for you to at least meet what you did
Yeah.
the previous year, and they did not do that. The Ottawa Senators,
A or B, sorry.
I'll go B.
Yeah, that was the team I was mistaking with Detroit with.
Yeah,
Like they, after their whole ownership debacle, like what? They finished 6 points ahead of Detroit, ultimately 5 points or 6 points out of a playoff spot. You would have expected Ottawa to be like C. Like I expected them to pick a jump, and not like a big jump. And
I would argue C, like high C.
I'm still keeping them in B.
Reason being is that
The
like,
expectations of the Islanders
reason
were
being is like how many there were also wild card?
6.
Well, it's still a fair amount, bro.
But the problem is you didn't expect them to be even 6 out,
I mean, you expect them to be better, right?
right? Like you did not expect them.
But
to be
were they?
6
What
out.
were they? They did improve from the previous season, right? That's
Yeah,
they 100%
massively.
did.
Like I still didn't think they were gonna. I thought they were gonna like a C team. Like what Detroit was. I thought Detroit and Ottawa would have been neck and neck in whatever they finished. Yes, they're 6 points clear, but I still think plus their young core is their team is young, right?
Yeah,
All they did was add Claude Giroux and they still got better with it. They just need to fix their goaltending and they could be the next version of the Devils next year, for all we know.
yeah. Probably add a little bit to their defense too.
Yeah, so I'm keeping them in B,
Philly Flyers,
D.
right? They were bad. Supposed to be bad,
Yeah.
right? Can't really comment because like nobody really watched Philly,
Yeah.
other than Philly,
Yeah,
probably. Pittsburgh Penguins,
C.
C.
They should have been comfortably in a playoff spot. I would have put D if they weren't literally
Here's-
in a
here-
playing spot. Or not a playing spot, like they were like 1 point out of a wild.
Here's why I would argue D tier. They had to play the Chicago Blackhawks, and if they were in the wild card, right?
Yeah.
Like Florida was behind them, right? They had to play the Chicago Blackhawks, and they lost to them. That's how Florida got in the playoffs,
Yeah. But you got to put them in C.
right?
You still got to put them in C because the Islanders are there. They both were like neck and neck. They're at the end of C, though.
Yeah.
You could put them D if you want. Like Calgary missed the playoffs, too. But
But yeah, I'll go high C. You know why? Because
high D, you mean.
high D because they're like Calgary. They're supposed to make the playoffs,
Yeah.
right? Yes, they're old team, but the fact that you lost to Chicago out of all teams to miss the playoffs, that's what's really like disappointing.
Yeah.
Me. San Jose Sharks.
They were supposed to be bad. They were bad. Give a shout out to Erik Karlsson for that massive season. But that was their only bright spot of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all that it was.
Seattle Kraken.
A.
A.
Easily. They were like the OKC Thunder. Not the OKC Thunder, but like the Kings version. The Sacramento Kings version of the NHL, in my opinion.
Yeah,
They were like they made a mad team in their initial year. And
they have
then
like
stepped
they have
up.
a roster. Like they have their
Yeah.
team filled out, but they don't have like a superstar.
They're like second, third line filled team.
Yeah, right. They
essentially.
don't have like a clear cut first liner that drives its own line,
Yeah.
right? And the fact, like, we were expecting the Kraken to be worse than the Canucks.
Yeah.
Obviously, that did not happen. And you made the play-in spot and playoff spot. There's no play-ins in NHL. And you beat the defending Cup champions. You have to be ahead.
And
of
they had
them.
100-point season.
Yeah, like it was a
They
great
were 5
season.
points clear of Winnipeg.
Yeah, so Seattle definitely
7
deserved.
points clear of Calgary, like you said. So
Yeah, so definitely deserved a A tier. St. Louis Blues.
C or D, it's tough. We have so many in D right now.
Yeah. I think it might be because they were nowhere's land. They weren't anywhere near F, but they weren't anywhere near the playoff.
They finished behind the Canucks, and that says something for a little bit.
And I don't think they were supposed to be that good, right? Their expectations weren't really.
Like I thought they were like Nashville, but Nashville performed slightly better than them.
So would you say
I would say the end of C or the beginning of D. Like, but you have Pittsburgh in D though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but the thing with Pittsburgh is
I
like,
know. Yeah, the expectations.
they lost to the Blackhawks. I
Wait,
cannot get
are
over
they
that fact.
really like the expectations wise? They finished 11 points clear of the Coyotes, but you didn't expect Coyotes to be 11 points behind them.
Yeah. I think chuck him in D, man.
All right, chuck them in. We probably have to rearrange some of this. Tampa B.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Lightning
You lose
would
to
be.
Toronto, you go to B. No,
Holy hell.
you can't see it.
Yeah, whatever. They're in B tier.
Yeah, no, B tier makes sense. Obviously, they got had a drop down at some point. 3 years in the finals, 2 years winning.
That's a
Right.
lot of games.
So it was meant to happen at some point, and
You lost a lot of players. Like,
Yeah,
you lost Yanni Gordon.
the
You
other
lost
reason why
Blake Coleman. You lost
Andre Palat.
Andre Palat from last year. Obviously, Blake
Yeah.
Coleman and Yanni Gordon from the previous
Yeah,
years.
the
like,
reason
couple
why
years
they're
ago.
also B tier is they had the game. They could have beaten the Maple Leafs this year, more so than last year.
Yeah, because they blew so many leads.
Overtimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, Toronto
the-
S tier for winning the first round. Kidding. Um,
It's A tier?
yeah.
They have to be ahead of the Lightning, right?
Is it a high B or a low A? Because here's the thing: Toronto curse not getting
Okay,
out of the first round.
wait, what? Are they the same as Edmonton Oilers?
Yes.
Then it's high B.
But that's my point. At the end of the day, you could talk about getting out of the first round as much as you want.
But you were
You were
supposed to get out of the first round 5 years ago.
not even just that. Guess who they played in the second round?
Oh, at the Panthers.
So and they got they got gentlemen swept. So they lost
Yeah.
5. Yeah, B tier.
Yeah, B tier.
They cannot
for
be in
sure.
the same tier as Florida. No way.
Canucks, F tier.
You bring them an F.
I had
You have the Blues in D.
I had higher expectations for the Canucks.
I mean, that's our team. You're
Yeah,
wearing
I
the shirt
know.
for. You
Uh,
have to put them in D.
right?
At the beginning of the year, for sure, F. They fought back. Obviously, the fought back is
It's useless.
right.
It's actually useless.
They finished 3 spots out of the wild card, but those 3 spots were 12
10
points.
points. 12 points. 12 points, yeah.
Um,
Okay, Rick Tocchet era.
it's like a C tier era.
Bruce Boudreau is like
F
below
tier.
F.
So D is average.
Yeah. There was a little bit like, obviously the Canucks fan base, the Vancouver fan base would be like F because there was the way the management rolled out the roster were like, oh, these guys will make the playoffs
And
or contend for the
they shot
playoffs,
the bed.
and they absolutely with another horrid start to the season.
Yeah.
That's why maybe I can consider F.
Now that's also our expectations because we are literally Canucks fans.
Yeah, but you said yourself that like, oh, these guys can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I did.
What happened?
They were not anywhere near it.
Exactly. So for that reason, that's why I want to lower here.
Okay, leave it a D for now. I just want to see how the rest finish out here. Last two.
Capitals.
D. Yeah, your bright spot is Ovechkin passing Gretzky. They still had higher expectations, and
But they were
they
getting
ch-
old. Like
choked.
they were,
But yeah, but
especially with
you didn't
teams
expect
like-
them to be this bad still.
yeah, I know. But with teams like Devils getting better, the Sabres getting better, right?
You still thought they would have been ahead of the Sabres, in my opinion,
Yeah,
or
but-
at least fighting with them. Like you still expected.
yeah,
them,
they were
you
like,
still expected them to be where Pittsburgh was.
yeah, that's true.
That's the
And
thing.
they weren't.
That's why I'm still questioning. You should put Pittsburgh to C.
All right, fine. I'll put Pittsburgh to C just because D is looking like
Not even
right
just
now.
that. That shouldn't be the reason why.
Yeah.
But
no, yeah, Pittsburgh were a better
And then you could
team than the
chuck-
Capitals.
you could chuck Winnipeg and C. Like
Yeah, Winnipeg Jets are a C
they
team.
still made the playoffs. They gave.
They're like the Wild, right?
yeah. They're the
like, they're just
Canadian
that
Wild.
mid-team.
They're the Canadian Wild.
Yeah,
Um.
they're just that mid team. They got eliminated in the first round, reasonably slow. Nobody expected them to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm
Yeah.
even surprised they got a game. But nah, and also injuries ruined them that series as well. Like Morrissey got injured, Scheifele got injured,
Yeah.
and they just got absolutely destroyed after.
Okay. So
I think S tier is fine. A tier I think is fine, right?
yeah, the only team you could really argue is Oilers, but
No, I think
But that's
B
about-
tier I think is decent. I don't think anyone C tier can move up,
no, hell no.
right?
No one could really move down other than Pittsburgh. But then that's like we're just being generous at that point.
Yeah.
Now that D tier, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong. Cause like there were many teams that just didn't meet it, and it's also weird with how the standings and
Okay, no. If we're like, you know how we rank these guys, right? Chicago, San Jose. They're like, oh, yeah, you're supposed to be bad, right? And you were bad, right? And then there was teams like Capitals where you were supposed to be
I don't think they were still an F tier team.
good.
Like some people didn't expect Capitals to even make.
I'm not saying Capitals are actually, but I'm saying using example saying that they're supposed to be good, but they fell off. But the Canucks
We're trying to be good,
were trying to be good,
and
they were horrible, especially in the beginning.
And then when they're supposed to be bad, they became good.
Bro, I genuinely think they had like in the first 3 months, they're more like 60-70% of their wins were just like shootout wins or like overtime wins. Like they didn't really have regulation wins.
It's tough. Like
I don't know if it's how much is like me being pissed off at them.
yeah, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying.
So
I feel like the list is fine. I'll be honest with you.
but if you want to have one F
But
tier,
then Columbus down there is harsh as well.
yeah, if we're putting Columbus down here, we should put the Canucks and Capitals down here. In my opinion. Because what are we based on? We're like, okay, these guys should be fighting for
Like a wild card.
a wild card spot. That's what these two teams should have been doing too. All three were nowhere near. Yes, Columbus was like
What about St. Louis?
way off.
What about St. Louis?
Did St. Louis had the same expectation as the Capitals and
Yes.
Canucks? Then they should be dropped too.
It's because like St. Louis has Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas, and all these guys. Their coaches calling out their effort and all that. Did St. Louis make it last year?
I genuinely don't know. No, they did. It was all the Bennington Kadri drama.
There you go.
Right, no, okay. I'm moving St. Louis down, I'm moving Canucks down, and I'm moving the Capitals down. I think that's fair. Reason being that all four of these teams had
So do you want to drop Pittsburgh to D again?
wild card expectations. Yeah, Pittsburgh, Chicago beat you. You deserve to be here.
Okay, so then you're fine with Arizona there too?
Yeah, I'm fine with Arizona
Yeah.
there.
That was my only argument. They're the only team that I could see moving up to C. I don't
Yeah.
see any of those teams from D moving up to C or going down.
Yeah. I don't see Vegas going down. I don't see these guys. I think A is fine. I think B is fine. I think C is fine. I think D is fine. My only arguments were like these four teams. Because reason why I would still put Columbus at D for missing the playoffs. But the fact that you had like that the worst record.
Well.
The worst record in the league.
They were the
Basically,
worst record, but
were the Ducks?
they were like bottom two. It was them or the Ducks.
Yeah, but you had an expectation bigger than the Ducks, right?
Yeah.
And obviously Canucks, we already said enough. Capitals, same thing as the Canucks, and then the Blues. You made the playoffs the year before, and you had like a similar team.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
with it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a tough one, for sure. Like obviously, as a Canucks fan, we watched them the most, and we knew that they were.
And we cried watching them.
Yeah, they were your version of Man United last year, essentially.
Yeah, legit.
But
they were.
Columbus, you gonna put them in D then?
No, I'll keep Columbus here.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm fine with the list.
Yeah.
I feel like this one will definitely get a lot of comments.
For
For
sure.
sure.
Or
Any viewers that watch this will definitely comment on this.
just be mad
Yeah.
in general.
But yeah, I guess we'll keep it like that. I think we're happy with it. Comment down below. What do you guys think? You agree? You disagree? Who do you want to move up? Who do you want to move down? And like this video if you want more tier lists. Give us some suggestions down below. And subscribe to the channel. Check out our other tier list videos. And other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.